Good morning, good morning. Ooh, filters are fun again. They're all ugly. I don't want to be orange. No filter. Good morning. How's everyone feeling? I hope really good. So, I always have my thoughts as soon as I wake up and I'm in the shower and it's like, boom, I want to talk about this. And I kind of had that epiphany because of the emails that I was getting. And the emails all come addressed to your fairy thug mother. And I was like, whoa, that's super amazing that I'm addressed that way now. But it was really an eye-opener as to the amount of influence that we as people can have over other people and on other people. And with that being said, we are all personal co-creators of this universe. So whatever we put out into this world, we must acknowledge that in some shape, form, or fashion, that energy is going to be received, it's going to be reciprocated, and it's going to change our world and other people's worlds, whether we are aware of it or not. So usually when we say the personal responsibility, we usually put that on people like celebrities, and we chastise them for the things that they say or do because we know how influential it is. And we don't think about how we are all co-creators to the universe, and it doesn't necessarily take a social following to either positively or negatively affect somebody else's existence. Side note, I'm burning some frankincense here. It's great for protection and purification. So, let's put it even into your own personal bubble. Your Facebook page. No matter how many followers you may have, your Facebook page, your 500 friends, your 200 friends, your 1,000 friends, you're a content creator. So the things that you post today, tomorrow, or you have posted have been published not just to Facebook, but to the universe. But in that moment that you published whatever you published, whether it be a guided meditation for somebody or you reposted a fight video, in that moment, you had complete and total control over the content that you put into the universe for it to be a reflection of your worldview and somebody else's. So if you took that moment before pushing post or publish or saying, even outside of a social media setting, outside of the internet, because this is still applicable to your everyday physical existence, before you do those things, before you say whatever it is that you're about to say, before you write whatever it is that you're about to write, whatever it is you're about to put into the world, you have to ask yourself, is this adding negativity to somebody else's existence? Or am I adding to somebody else's existence? Because no matter what we do, everybody always wants to be like, oh no, it was just a joke, chill out, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's really why that we are in the state that we are in the world, is because everybody takes everything so desensitized and lightly like it's a fucking joke. It's not. So in that moment, in every single choice that we make, we're being presented with, are we giving or are we taking away from somebody? And most of the time, we're taking away from ourselves. But this goes back to being a co-creator with this universe. It's not just ourselves. Our existence is never just ourselves. We don't even come into this world by ourselves. Whether even you be orphaned, you still did not come into this existence alone. So you still, in this life, do nothing, absolutely nothing by yourself. Everything that you do is still affecting other people. It's still affecting the world. You threw a piece of garbage out the trash can earlier today when you had breakfast, and some bird swallowed it and it's dead now. You had a choice. You thought about it. You may not have thought about it. But every single thing that we do has a ripple effect on more than just ourselves. So that piece of trash that you threw out the window more than likely harmed the world, the universe. It's reciprocating now negative functions, negative functionalities. You picked up a piece of trash today. You are now sending out a message to the universe that is one of protection and preservation, and it's a more positive signal to the universe. Therefore, more positive signals, therefore, come back. So today, really be aware of what exactly you're creating, and not just for yourself, because we always talk about the state of the world. Oh my gosh, the world, so hard, it's horrible. Oh, it sucks so bad. But we don't ever analyze exactly our part in the universal energy as of right now, today. We don't actually take our part. We complain about the bigger overall picture, but there's definitely more productive things that we could be doing energetically that works a lot and ripples a lot further than just the complaint about the condition of the world. Because we know the condition of the world. We know that there's slave labor happening. We know that there are women and children and men being abducted into sex slavery. We know that these things are happening. We know that there's a food shortage. We know that there's poverty. We know all of these things are negative and they exist. But the energy that you would like to put out into the universe, and the energy that is more productive, and the energy that is going to change the world in a respective universal consciousness and worldview, are actually focusing on the things that you are able to do to now put into the universe a more positive energy. So, with that being said, instead of complaining about world hunger, you seek to solve one person's hunger. That action in itself is enough to produce positive ripples in the world. So if every single one person on this planet that did something about one person that was hungry, instead of all of us complaining about all the people that are starving, we would be a lot further as a world when it comes to quote unquote food shortage. So again, for instance, if we talk about all of the people that have a lack of education in underprivileged neighborhoods, and we talk till we're blue in the face about it. But if everybody that had that one concern took less energy in complaining about it and decided to sponsor one child, find one child to send books to, find one child to send school supplies to, then you now have created a more productive and a more positive ripple effect in the universe than your first initial concerns and complaints. Because sometimes we have to realize, although that we are very much so concerned about all of these negative things that are happening around us and to other people that we don't even know, and we do concern ourselves with them, a lot of us have not learned the difference between concern and complaint. Because concern with action, you actually can make something happen to change the thing in which you complain about. But if your concern only stays in a state of worry and constant hoopla, and you're just talking about it, you're only rippling out into the universe that same need. So now you've intensified the problem that you are concerned with, and you speak so much about it, although have not done one thing to particularly set a more positive ripple or a positive effect into the universe. So, today, as a co-creator of this world, don't take anything lightly, because we, every day, are actively shaping and molding the world around us. So, even in our relationships, even in our friendships, even in our businesses, and it, again, goes beyond us, because the shit that touches me every day is when I can read a comment. Yesterday, I almost got for real. Some lady showed me pictures of her 5-year-old daughter meditating and said that I was a role model to her daughter, and like, she looks up to me, the kid is 5, which puts into my mind, you know, sheesh, I'm not living for just myself. Although I'm living predominantly with myself in the forefront of my mind, I'm not living for just myself. There are other people that I don't even know exist that are watching me as a molding for their own lives. And that makes me personally responsible for either a positive reaction in somebody else's life, me adding to somebody else's life, or me subtracting from somebody else's life. Because after I get off this video, I could literally post something on my page that could hurt all of you or it would help all of you. I could post some ratchet ass bullshit that doesn't help anybody, and I could then poison hella people's minds without even realize that you're being poisoned and tainted, which is why I hate TV. Or I could post something uplifting. I could post advice for how to stay happy throughout the day. I could post a crystal and what it does. At that point, I've added something beneficial to somebody else's life. But again, it doesn't take a social platform or a large platform to realize that you still have that same amount of control. Myself sitting here, having all of you watching me, has the same amount of control over your influence in the world as you do sitting over there, because what you post on your page throughout the day still gets published into the general universe. That energy still gets reciprocated into the world. So even though you might post something and you're like, ain't nobody gonna see this, keep it to yourself. I'm learning that certain things really should be kept to ourselves because they aren't the healthiest for other people. They aren't even the healthiest for us. But when we keep them to ourselves, maybe that we can process them internally and figure out why we even had the thought in the first place and why we even thought it necessary to share toxicity. And we're all very guilty of it. But really, in this exact moment right now, ask yourself, am I responsible for producing and publishing into the world toxicity? And am I responsible for creating toxicity for somebody else? And we should wake up every day kind of having these thoughts because they're going to change the shape of our interactions throughout the day. Somebody staring at you, instead of being like, what the fuck is she looking at? You say hello. In that moment, you made a choice to respond to something more positively than you might have. But in that moment, those interactions between people can now change. It could have gone all the way left based upon your reaction, or it could go all the way right. The point is, we're living in a world where there are less conscious people than ourselves. So again, there is more of a personal responsibility on our part because we have that understanding. Ignorance is bliss. So a lot of people can be reacting throughout the day, but they don't have the conscious understanding of mindfulness. But you do. So you, as a person that has a better understanding of consciousness, should not be reacting to their reaction. I'm breathing out here. Okay, I hope it's back. So again, if you're conscious of how everything goes in life, you do less responding to other people's reactions because they ignorantly do not understand how that works. Ignorant meaning they just do not have the concept or understanding of it. And we are operating and existing with a lot of people that do not have any understanding of reciprocal toxic energy or vice versa. So if you do have that understanding, be the bigger person in that moment to say, I have something more positive to offer the world in this moment because it goes beyond just this one interaction. So today, make sure the things that you're putting out in the universe, you'd want for other people, because that's genuinely what it comes down to. So much we don't think about it and we just put bullshit out into the world, but we don't think about where that bullshit lands. We think that our actions have no effect on other people around us, that we're just living in our own little globes and bubbles, and our mess doesn't make shit messier for other people. You think about it in a relationship sense. Let's say you over here with all of your baggage meets Joe Blow over here, and Joe Blow doesn't have any baggage, and you get into a relationship with Joe Blow, and you throw all your baggage on Joe Blow. You throw it at him. You throw the book of baggage at Joe Blow. You didn't have to. You didn't have to throw your baggage on Joe Blow, but you made a conscious effort and choice to throw your baggage onto somebody else. So now Joe Blow over here, that had no idea, now has his own baggage. And a lot of it was yours to begin with. But misery loves company. And we make other people's lives more complicated than they need to be. And then we wonder why they end up having more complicated lives, and then they spew their toxicity. But it originally could have been incepted from one person. You make sure that that one person that caused the inception of that toxicity in that person's life, and then the person that they dealt with after that, did not come from you. And this conversation sounds a lot like sexually transmitted diseases now, doesn't it? But you realize that those things are tangible things. We transmute diseases of emotionality and mentality every day. We think that disease has to be some sort of physical ailment. But a lot of us are emotionally and mentally and spiritually damaged and still spreading that disease and still spreading our own personal toxicity onto other people because we're not able to process it ourselves. Therefore, we throw traumas, we throw tantrums, and we give it to other people. Emotional, spiritual, and mental maturity is coming to the conclusion that some things need to be worked with and inside without broadcasting them or giving them to other people to deal with that cannot deal with those issues, cannot deal with those things. They were never ordained to deal with those things in your life in the first place. They were for you to deal with. They were for you to overcome. They were for you to process. Your toxicity was meant for you to figure out. It wasn't for anybody else. Because it's nobody else's obligation or responsibility to deal with your toxicity. But it is your responsibility to make sure that you are not spreading any toxicity. So, whether it's, like again, on a minimal value, whatever you post on your Facebook wall today, ask yourself, am what I'm publishing, not just to Facebook, but what I'm publishing to the world and to the universe, am I adding to somebody else's existence? Or am I taking away from it? Because there's genuinely nothing in between, in my opinion. Okay. I feel good about that. I do. I did my part. I have to buy crystals today. So just be wary of spreading your own toxic diseases to other people. You know, I'm queen of loving petty. I do. But I try to make sure that my pettiness is logical, like logical pettiness. Because there's like this petty epidemic going around. But it's like not even sarcastic, witty, intellectual, like logical, you know, like internal discrepancy pettiness, you know, like wittiness. And like, because like sometimes pettiness can be used as satire to like help people see the negativity in a situation by like giving them a mirror of themselves, you know, like I'm all for that kind of pettiness, but like I'm seeing like a lot of like off the handle, like non-purposeful, like with a point pettiness. Like it doesn't help. It's not even witty. It's not even cute. It's not even cool. You just need something to do. Don't do that. Make your petty count. Logically. Devil's advocate can sometimes be considered pettiness. But again, it helps people to see sometimes a mirror of themselves. Again, all for that. But just don't be out here in these streets being petty because somebody stepped on your shoe or took your seat or like, I don't know, whatever the hell people be petty about online these days. Oh, there's this shit that people petty about online these days. I don't know. Probably shouldn't do that. And, like, stop pettiness in your relationships. Because I see that shit all the time. Like, y'all do the most on Facebook. Like, y'all be going back and forth with y'all significant others on a fucking status. And I be seeing that shit. And y'all relationships got problems. Like, figure it out. Like, who does that? It's not okay. And if that is your existence, BTW, like, stop blaming that shit on the person you're in a relationship with. Because, like, y'all are reflections of each other. Like, I be complaining about my man all day long. But then I was like, boo, you attracted that. Like, you reflected that. Like, what is you in there? Like, can you identify you in there? And I did, and I could. And I was like, I have to grow up. And then those issues dissolved from my relationship because I realized that I was also contributing to that energy. You know? But, like, if you are stuck in cycles, there's something that you're not learning, and it has nothing to do with other people. Like, if you are stuck in cycles, if you are stuck with the same type of relationship interactions, if you're stuck in the same type of bullshit at your job, if you're stuck in the same sort of drama, if you just keep getting cyclical same bullshit, I really do recommend for you to do some serious self-analyzing, because I guarantee you it's not about anybody else. Although other people can like add to that and can add to those problems, it really comes from us, because the common denominator of all of our situations is always going to be us. Because whether or not we had the same exact situation with 10 different people and we be mad as shit at those 10 different people, we don't realize that the combination of all of those situations is still you. You're still at the root of it. So if you weren't attracting those situations, you just wouldn't be in those situations, but you are attracting them. So what about you is attracting those situations? In 2017, I want a lot of people to do a lot less complaining about things that they genuinely have control over. You are what you attract. You are what you attract. You are what you attract. So you want to complain about, oh my God, she's so pet, like she does this, like did you see her, and like the way she talks to me, blah blah blah, whatever it is that you find yourself complaining about in another person that's close to you is very well some sort of reflection of the shit you don't like about yourself. Real talk. But don't nobody ever really want to think about the stuff that we don't like about ourselves. But because we don't think about those things, we don't address those things, and then we just hide those things. We don't even realize that those things are problems because we were so busy trying to avoid not liking something about ourselves. So we just deflect it and reflect it onto other people around us and make it their problem for being trifling when you was trifling too. I don't even know why I felt the need to go into that part of the rant, because that was completely off topic from the first part. I feel like those were two completely separate Sunday sermons, but 2-for-1 deal. I'm for real about to go get some crystals now. Put these hands to work and be a blessing to somebody today. You put your mind and your mouth and your hands to work and be a blessing to somebody today, whatever that may mean. And I hope you are well. And I love y'all. And good day.